Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 13.20. The chapter which we are related with is leverage and capital structure, where we have already solved several questions. Dozens of questions has been solved, and we have seen different levels of leverages, especially degree of operating leverage, degree of financial leverage, and then degree of total leverage was calculated. Several questions related to these leverages were calculated, and we have seen that higher the degree of leverages, higher would be the risk. This conclusion we have made in previous questions. Right now we are in a different scenario, and some statistical calculations would be involved in this question, and you will have to be very cool, very calm to understand this question. Look over here. The first part contains three different levels of sales. This probability, for the time being, just consider that these are different levels of sales. So there might be 20% chance of getting 2 lakh sale, 60% chance of getting 3 lakh sales, and 20% chance is to get 4 lakh sale. These are just the chances. And then we have fixed cost, variable cost, interest, no preferred dividend or preferred share are present over here. Tax rate is present. So at different sale levels, we have different inputs present. Compute earning before interest and tax for each level of sales. So this is our first requirement, to calculate our earning before interest and tax for different levels of sales. So what can be done? We can have 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is possible over here. Here we are going to make an income statement. Let's make our format ready for it. So this is our income statement. Here we will write our particulars, and now here there are different type of sales. First probability which is used is 0.2. Number of units over here are 10,000s. Now let's see what is your second probability. Look over here, that's 0.6. So 0.6 is your second probability with 10,000 number of units, and your third probability again 0.2. Number of units for this is also 10,000. In particulars, we will start with our sales, then you will subtract your variable cost, you will get contribution margin, then fixed cost would be subtracted, with which we will get our net margin or earning before interest and tax. Then you will subtract your interest, you will get net earning before net earning after interest but before tax. Then we will calculate our tax, and finally we will get our earning after interest and after tax. If we will have our preferred dividend, we will subtract this preferred dividend, will get earning or net earning. Though we do know that preferred shares are not present, but we have written our completed format. This is earning after interest but before tax, net margin or earning before interest and tax contribution margin. So in this way, you will complete your income statement for three different levels. We are just going to arrange it, and now we will start putting the values over here. First, at level point 2, sales were, look over here, 2 lakh. Just put 2 lakh over here. Then you need to put your variable cost, and variable cost is equal to 70% of sales. So what you will do, 2 lakh is your amount of sale. To calculate 70%, you will multiply it with 70 and divide it by 100. Please note it down. So we have our variable cost. At this stage, we can calculate our contribution margin simple by subtracting variable cost from sales. Sale over here 2 lakh, and you will subtract your variable cost, which is 140,000. So we have got our contribution margin. After, we will see how much is our fixed cost, that is 75,000. So put 75,000 over here. Now we can calculate our net margin or earning before interest and tax, for which you will subtract your fixed cost from contribution margin. So contribution margin was 60,000, and you will subtract your fixed cost, which is 75,000. So we have negative sign. It's negative earning. Instead of earning profit, we are facing loss. Let's make it red as it's loss, but sign minus is also showing, and you can put brackets as well. Okay, after this we need to put our amount of interest, which is 12,000. So put 12,000 over here, and earning after interest but before tax. What you will do, you will have to subtract interest from previous earning minus 15,000, and then you will subtract your amount of interest. So we have got earning after interest before tax, again a negative sign. Then you will calculate your tax, for which you need earning after tax, earning before tax, and multiply it with rate earning before tax, and then you will multiply it with 40%, the rate which is given in your question. Now you can see that how much is your earning before tax that has been mentioned. We will take this earning, that means minus 27,000, and then you will multiply it with 40, divide it with 100. So you have got your tax, and that is what has been calculated, 27,000 multiplied by 40 divided by 100. In this way, your tax calculations would be completed. Let's check it out. 27,000 multiplied by 40 divided by 100. So in this way, your tax would be calculated. Now here there is a matter which is required to be discussed. Over here, your net margin is having a negative sign, and your interest is positive. You have got your amount as 27,000. Over here, when you will calculate your tax, that is 10,800. I have little objection over here. When you have your negative earning, you won't be having your tax, or in second stage, instead of paying this tax, this amount of tax should be refunded. In both cases, you are getting the same point. When you will get your earning after tax and after interest, what you have to do, you will be subtracting this tax. Now amount of tax is also in positive sense. So here try to understand, if you will put negative sign over here, you will get your negative tax. And now what you are going to do, you have to subtract your tax from earning. Sign of tax is less. So you will subtract amount of tax which has been calculated. So in this way you have got this amount earning after interest and after tax. This is your total earning after interest after tax. Kindly understand this. There are few facts which are closely associated with math. Actually, what you have done, your income was minus 27,000. You have subtracted your tax and amount of tax was minus 10,800. So in this way, your calculations has been completed. So this understanding is important. Please focus upon here. Minus was your income and then you were in need to subtract your tax. You have put sign of minus and again tax was negative. In this way you have got minus 16,200. Look over here, you have got the same. Either you can calculate like this or you can calculate by putting the amounts. In the same way you have got your earning after interest after tax. Preferred dividend is not present in your question. So it means your net earning would be similar what you have already calculated for net income after interest after tax. Statement has been completed. Now let's see what was required in our question. Earning before interest and tax minus 15,000. Earning before interest and tax. This is your EBIT and that is minus 15,000. This was your answer, minus 15,000, and let's mark it as it has been done. Yellow color usually we choose for our answers. Okay guys, first part has been completed. The only special thing which is needed to understand is this tax. When you have negative earning, your tax is also negative. Instead of payment, it would be refunded or it should be refunded. And this way your net income becomes negative. So you are facing loss. No tax, negative tax, facing loss. Now we will start our calculation, and since answer was required only for EBIT, that is why answer over here is mentioned in the same way. Now we are required to calculate EBIT for each level. Same, we'll start our calculation for second option. You can see that sales for second option is 3 lakh. So let's put 3 lakh over here. After which your variable cost would be same for all levels of sale. 140,000. One second. Variable cost was mentioned over here, which is 70% of the sale. To calculate 70%, you will take your amount of sales 3 lakh and then you will multiply it with 70, divide it with 100. You will get your variable cost. Okay, at this stage we can calculate our contribution margin, which is difference between variable cost and sales. To calculate the difference, you will choose your sales, which is 3 lakh, and you will subtract variable cost 2,10,000, and this way your contribution margin has been calculated. And now you will put your fixed cost, which is similar for all level of sales, 75,000. And now you can calculate your EBIT or net margin, earning before interest and tax, which is difference between fixed cost and contribution margin. 90,000 is your contribution margin and you will subtract your fixed cost, which is 75,000. In this way net margin has been calculated. Amount of interest would be similar as it is same for all level of sales, 12,000. Here you can calculate your earning after interest, for which you will subtract interest from previous income. 15,000 was your previous income. Amount of interest was 12,000, which is meant to be subtracted. In this way, earning after interest you have calculated. Now you will calculate your tax, for which you will need your previous income, which is 3,000, and you will multiply 40%, which is rate of tax. Amount of tax has been calculated. Now you can calculate your earning after tax, which is the difference between tax and previous earning. 3,000 was your previous earning. To calculate the difference, you will subtract amount of tax. And this way your earning after tax is over here. You need to subtract your tax. This was meant to be mentioned over here. Earning after interest has been calculated, zero preferred dividend. So here you will calculate your net earning, and net earning or earning available for common shareholders would be similar as no preferred dividend is present. It is also called earning available for shareholders. Okay, we have less space. Let's arrange it. So net earning or earning available for shareholder is 1800. So answer for EBIT for second option is 15,000. Look over here, second answer is 15,000. It means answer is matched. Let's mark it as it has been done. And now we are up to our third level. For third level we have 4 lakh as amount of sales. So put 4 lakh over here. Sales as usual written, and variable cost was mentioned as 70% of sales. It was given in the question. To calculate 70%, you will take your sales, which is 4 lakh, and you will get 70%. Multiply 70 divided by 100. So in this way you have calculated your variable cost. Now you are open to calculate your contribution margin, which is difference between sale and variable cost. To calculate the difference, you will take sales and then you will subtract your variable cost, which is 2,80,000. Contribution margin has been calculated. Now let's put the fixed cost, which is same 75,000. Write down 75,000, and now you are open to calculate your EBIT or earning before interest and tax, which is actually the difference of fixed cost and contribution margin. Contribution margin 120,000, and you will subtract your fixed cost, which is 75,000. So in this way you have calculated your earning before interest and tax. And now you will put your amount of interest, which is similar for all levels of sales, 12,000. After writing interest, you can now calculate earning after interest, for which you will subtract your amount of interest from previous earning. 45,000 previous earning, amount of interest 12,000. So you have got your earning after interest. And next is to put your amount of tax. Let's arrange it. Amount of tax is 40%. Rate of tax is 40%. To calculate, you need previous income, which is 33,000, and you will calculate 40% by multiplying 40 divided by 100. Tax has been calculated. You are now open to calculate your earning after tax, which is difference between tax and previous income. 33,000 was your previous income, amount of tax 13,200. So you have got your earning after tax 19,800, zero dividend. At this stage you will be able to calculate your net earning, which is difference between preference dividend and previous income, 19,800, and since no dividend is present, so this would also be your net earning. First part has been solved, and let's see what is the answer of EBIT for third option. Look over here, it is 45,000. So it means our third part has also been solved. Let's mark it as it has been done. So 3 EBITs were required for 3 different level of sales, and we have calculated them. It means our part A has been completed. Now let's see what B part is saying to us. Go back to the question. Compute earning per share. This is first part. So what you will do, as you know that earning per share would be calculated by taking net earning and divide it with number of shares. In this way, you will be able to calculate your EPS or earning per share. It is also called EPS. Net earning we have calculated for every level of sales. For first part, your net earning was minus 16200, and you need to divide it with number of shares 10,000 mentioned over here. In this way, statement is completed, and now you can put it on your calculator divided by 10,000 number of unit. So this way you have calculated your net earning. This was just statement and that has been calculated. So let's delete it, write down like this. So why I have done this, so that you can remember that how you have calculated earning per share. Your earning was 16200 in minus, and number of shares calculated, number of shares given in the question 10,000. In similar way, you will calculate earning per share for second level of stage. Earning over here is 18,000, and you will divide it with number of shares again 10,000. After putting your statement, you can now calculate it. So we have 1.8, is it 18,000? Sorry, it is 1800. So second EPS has been calculated 0.18. Let's check it. Answers should be present. Okay, first is minus 1.62. So first minus 1.62, answer was matched. It means it has been done. Mark it. And second answer EPS 0.18, and that is 0.18. Answer is marked. Answer is matched. Let's mark as it has been done. Now we will calculate earning per share for third option, for which your earning is 19,800. Write down, and you need to divide it with number of shares 10,000. Statement is completed. Now let's calculate EPS, and we have got, why zeros are not controlled, 1.98. So third EPS is written over here 1.98. So in this way our third answer is also matched. Let's mark as it has been done. In part B, we are also required to calculate standard deviation and CV. Answers are present over here. Expected EPS, actually it's mean. Okay, for calculation of, here we will calculate our standard deviation first. To calculate standard deviation, you must have basic concept of stats. Standard deviation we are now going to calculate, for which you need first x, and then you need frequency, after which you will multiply both, and third stage you will calculate fx scare. This scare is needed to be put little up. Let's try if we can do that, and we need to make it subscript, not superscript. Okay, so this is called fx scare. So basic stat concept should be present, otherwise it would be little difficult for you to understand. We are now going to calculate standard deviation. Over here, your, let's go back to the question, for which standard deviation is calculated. Standard deviation of EPS. So what you will do, you will put here x, and that is your EPS, and f is what, your probability. This is given in your question as well. EPS we have calculated. First EPS was 1.62 negative. Second EPS you can see 0.18, and third EPS is 1.98. Okay, the probabilities are given in your question. Look over here. These are probabilities, but actually frequencies it is called. Point 0.2 first, 0.2, then 0.6, again 0.2. These are frequencies. And why I'm calling, because frequency has a trend, it will go up and then come down. You can see 0.2, 0.6 it had gone up and then again came back. So frequency, next step is to multiply f and x. This is f and x. Okay, let's make it little different so that you must have an idea where is f and x. Now you can understand that this first column is mentioned as x and second column is named as f. You are going to multiply f into x. To multiply, simply what you will do, minus 1.62 and then multiply it with 0.2. Believe me, on Excel it is little easy. And why I am manually performing this function? Just to make you understand what you have to do on your paper. Otherwise, look at here, this multiply by this and that's got your answer. So instead of this, what I am doing, 0.18 multiply by 0.6. So you have got your answer. Just to make you understand what you will do on your paper. Then third, 1.98 multiply 0.2. So we have got a total, we have got fx. Now we will get the sum of these items. For that, this is your first item, then you will add 0.108, again you will add 0.396, you have got your sum. And now please understand that expected EPS is actually average EPS, and this would be calculated as sum fx and it would be divided by sum f. This would be the method of calculation of expected EPS. Sum of fx and sum of f is needed. Here you can also calculate sum of f as well to put it on your formula, and you need to unmerge it. Here you take sum 0.2 plus 0.6 plus 0.2 and we have got total of f, which is 1. Probabilities total would always be equal to 1. And here you will calculate your expected EPS or mean or average EPS, for which sum of fx is calculated over here 0.18. You need to divide it with sum of f, which is 1. So now 0.18 divided by 1 is your answer of average. This is what you have called average, and this was required in your question. Expected EPS, though its answer is not mentioned over here, it is expected EPS and that has been calculated as 0.18. After which you will now calculate standard deviation, for which another column is needed, fx care. How you will calculate fx care? This fx would again be multiplied with x. What you are going to do? Minus 324. This is over here, minus 324, and you need to multiply it with x again, minus 1.62. Alright guys, we have, what is this? Okay, sign was missed, 0.324. We have got our first fxk. Same you will be doing, 0.108 would be multiplied by 0.18. Little help I'm taking from Excel instead of writing it manually. 0.396 would be multiplied with 1.98, and then similarly you will get total or sum of it. To take sum, what you will do, sum 0.52 plus zero point 0 plus 0.78. So you have got your total 1.3284. Alright guys, now we will put the formula over here. Let me check it again. You need to multiply this by this 0.52. Okay, and let me see. Okay, and again. Okay, fx here is over here. So to calculate our standard deviation, we have a formula. You will put first under root. On Excel, it is little tricky. Let's put under root. Come over here, equation tool, and this is needed to be right over here. So under root is needed. Let's put it down. At this under root, what you will write? First, sum fx square, and then you will subtract what f or average, and then you will take care of it. Okay, we have got this point. Let's make its size little bigger. This is formula for what? Standard deviation. Let's see if size can be changed. Make it 18. Now sign, will have to choose the text. Okay, we have got it. So this is your formula for standard deviation. Why it is not being removed? Uh, okay, please avoid this sign, and we need to make this square. Let's see if we can do this. Yes, we can do this. Superscript we need. Yes, it has been done. And one more formula. Though we are taking time, but since it's a part of this game, we have to make proper statement of this. So kindly note it down. This is your formula for standard deviation. What is written over here? Sum of fx square has already been calculated, and sum of fx is also present. Average was calculated 0.18. Average was given, not average was not given in your question, and now you will put it in your formula. Again, we are using this statement for our calculations. Here, instead of sum of x square, you will put the value. Sum of fx square is needed, and this is sum of fx square 1.32, and then you need to put average 0.18. So raise it down, 0.18. statement is completed. Okay, so here why this s is coming, we don't need it. So you have got 1.32 minus 0.81 square. First we will calculate it, but I have a little concern about this statement and why it is 1.32. Okay, just calculate and we will check it out again. Now see what you need to calculate. 1.32 and then you will subtract what? 0.18 square. This way you will calculate square 0.182. Okay, so we have got our amount 1.28. You will take under root of this answer. To take under root, simply you will put under root on your calculator and you will get the answer. What in Excel we will do to calculate under root, we will write as q.13 or square root, which amount you need to calculate, this 1.2876, and this way your under root would be calculated, and this is answer of your standard deviation. Let's see, look over here, 1.138, and your answer of standard deviation is calculated over here. So let's mark it as it has been done, 1.13. Okay guys, standard deviation has been calculated, and we need to calculate another factor related to stats, and that is, come over here, coefficient of variation. This is called CV. Coefficient of variation is needed to be calculated. Let's make heading of it, coefficient of variation. Spelling I will check. CV it is called. For this what you will do, standard deviation which we have just calculated, or write complete word standard deviation, and you will divide it with average EPS. This is formula for CV or coefficient of variation. Standard deviation you have calculated is 1.13, and then you will divide it with earning per share, which was average EPS was calculated 0.18. I will show you little while after. This is our statement, and look over here, you have calculated your average EPS, that is 0.18, and standard deviation was calculated as 1.13. When you will divide your standard deviation by EPS, you will get your answer. Your standard deviation was 1.13 and you will divide it with your average EPS. This was calculated over here. That means you are dividing 1.13 over 0.18. So you have got your coefficient of variation as 6.3. So come over here, you have your CV 6.3. In this way, your standard deviation is completed and your coefficient of variation is also completed. So let's mark it as it has been completed, and we are now done with which part we were doing. That was B part, in which we needed to calculate EPS, standard deviation and CV, and we have calculated EPS, standard deviation, which is over here, and then coefficient of variation was also calculated. Let's highlight it as well, and it means this part has been ended. We will now go to C part and we'll see what C part is saying to us. Tower has the opportunity to reduce its leverage to zero, okay, and to pay no interest. It means there is an option of non-payment of interest. This will require number of share outstanding to be increased as 15,000. Two, it's not buy. There is difference between two and buy. Two means just 15,000. Repeat B part on this assumption. So again, we are going to calculate EPS and we need to calculate our standard deviation or CV. The only thing changed is we will calculate income statement without interest and number of shares would be changed. So for the time being, we are taking this whole performa with us as everything is same, and we will try to use it for our C part, and we will put this performa over here. Thankfully we have got our performa. Normally it doesn't come over here. As you can see, half part is not present. This is missed. Let's take it individually. Okay, system is getting a little slow. Okay, we need to put it over here. Okay, that has also been put. So in this way, old statement is in front of you, in front of us, and we will change it. Actually, it is needed to be put over here. Please give a little more time to adjust it. So everything would be written in similar way except amount of interest and number of shares. Over here, number of shares are now 15,000 for all options. So we have changed first, and now you will change for second. Number of shares would be 15,000. You will have to be very cool to let it understand. If you don't have time, you can pause this lecture, come when you have time. Sales are not being changed, same. Variable cost would not be changed, contribution margin would not be changed, and obviously your net margin would be as it is. The only thing which you will change is they are saying there is zero interest. When there will be no interest, so what you will do, you will again calculate your earning after interest and before tax. You are actually needed a little more space, and let me make that space. Sometimes it happens we need a cross. Alright, so we have got it. Now please do understand, no change in sales, no change in variable cost, no change in fixed cost. We have same earning before interest and tax. Since interest has been vanished, it means 15, you have zero interest over here for. So guys, when sale is same, variable cost is same, contribution margin would be calculated in similar way, fixed cost is same, net margin would be same. The only difference which has been calculated is actually the amount of interest. Let's get back to the question, and you will see that it has been said that zero leverage and pay no interest. This was your first statement where you had put your interest 12,000. Everything prior to this would be similar, and as it is we have posted over here. The only thing which would you change is your amount of interest, and here there will be zero interest. So obviously when there is no interest, your earning after interest would be same, as you need to subtract your EBIT minus interest, which is 0. So same level of income would come over here. It's time to calculate your tax, which is 40%. You need previous income, which is minus 15,000, and you will multiply it with 40 divided by 100. Negative taxation or refundable taxation is calculated, after which you will calculate earning after tax, which is difference between tax and previous earning. Previous earning was minus 15,000, and you will subtract your tax, which is 6,000. In this way you have got your earning after tax. No dividend was present. It means when you will subtract your previous earning and preferred dividend, you will get the same earning available for shareholders. At this stage, you need to calculate your earning per share. Let's go back to point C, what it was requirement. Repeat part B, this assumption. In part B, we have calculated EPS, standard deviation, and CV. So now we have got the stage where you will get your EPS. How? Net earning you will take, and it would be divided by number of shares. So come over here. How much earning you have? Minus 9,000, and number of share for second option is 15,000. As you can see that we have changed it. Number of shares now is 15,000. So first EPS is calculated, and we were supposed to put the statement first. This is, so here you can calculate 9,000 divided by 15,000. Statement is important. You can remember it. How did we calculate? So first EPS for C part has been calculated. It is 0.6. Let's check it out. So we have got our first answer, minus 0.6, and we need to put here, it was minus, that was present over here. So first EPS has been calculated, and we have matched the answer. So let's mark as it has been now done. Now we will complete our second statement. Same, no interest. When there is no interest, it means by subtracting you will get same earning after interest. This would be the stage where we can calculate our tax. We need previous earning, which was 15,000, and you will calculate your tax 40%. After which you will subtract this tax. Previous earning was 15,000, and you will subtract your tax 6,000. We have got our earning. No dividend was present. It means your net earning would be similar in absence of preferred dividend. So what we are going to calculate EPS, for which net earning is needed to be divided by number of shares. Here your net earning is 9,000 positive, and divided by number of share 15,000. Statement is completed. You can now put it on calculator. So we have got our second EPS for C part, 0.6, and you can see second answer is 0.6 over here for C part, and we have also calculated. It means answer is matched. Let's mark it as it has been done. Similarly, third statement would be completed. 0 interest. It means your previous earning, current earning will be same. You will calculate your tax. Earning was 45,000, and you will take 40% to calculate our tax. So here you will calculate earning after tax, which is difference between tax and previous earning. 45,000 was previous earning. You will subtract amount of tax, which is 18,000, and you will get your earning after tax 27,000. No dividend. It means same income would be your net earning. After which you can calculate your EPS, which is actually answer of division of net earning, that was 27,000, and you need to divide it with number of shares 15,000. Statement is completed. Now you can calculate it. 27,000 divided by 15,000, 1.8 we have calculated, and look at here. We have third answer 1.8. So it means our EPS ended. Three answers are calculated, and now we will calculate our standard deviation. To calculate standard deviation, what statements we need? First X, which is actually EPS, because standard deviation of EPS is needed to be calculated. Then you will put F, which is probability. Further, you will multiply your F with X, and then you will take Fx square. So Fx square is needed to be settled. It was easy to copy, but I have started making it. Let's make it little up to calculate the square. Remaining we will copy from above. Okay, so EPS you have calculated, and that would be put over here. First EPS is minus 0.6, and then positive 0.6, 1.8. Probability is given in your question, and that was 0.2. I just have in my mind 0.6 and 0.2. Let me show you where this probability was. In your question it was given over here 0.2, 0.6, 0.2. This is your frequency. After putting it, now you can calculate the product of frequency and probability, and our cells are not in proper position. Let's make them so that we can easily calculate our required amount. Okay guys, so first we need to calculate Fx, product of frequency and X. So frequency 0.2, multiply it with X, you have got your first amount. In the similar way you will multiply F with EPS, and third frequency or probability would be multiplied with EPS. All three amounts are calculated. You will now be able to get their sum, and just by putting it to this way we will get the sum of these three amounts, which is needed to calculate average. To calculate sum, we will now take help from Excel instead of manually putting it. We have got our sum, that is 0.6. Let's align them in the same way. After calculating Fx, next step is to calculate Fx square, and this was posted over here. Instead of here, you will calculate Fx square like this. To calculate Fx square, you will multiply Fx with X. What I have said, this is Fx, and you will multiply it with X. This way you will get your Fx square, and same you will be doing over here. I will be using Fx square, Fx multiply by X. Second calculation has been done, again Fx, and that would be multiplied with X. At this stage you will take sum. I am taking little less time because it was already been calculated in previous part. So this way Fx square has also been calculated. Let's align them, and these were actually heading. Highlight them. Over here we have completed the sum of Fx square as well. So this is tabulated form. Now we will calculate expected EPS. As we have calculated in previous part, expected EPS is actually average EPS. And how would you calculate? Simply you will take sum of Fx and you will divide it with sum of f. Sum of fx over here is zero point 0.6, and then you will divide it with sum of f, that was 1. So we have got our answer 0.6. This was needed to calculate your standard deviation. So over here we will take little help from Excel again. This formula is needed. Instead of writing it, we are copying it as it will take a lot of time. Over here you will put this formula, and second, what we will do, we will put amounts in this formula as well. Sum of fx square is needed. So fx square is over here 0.936. Previous amounts would be deleted, and we need to put 0.936, and then you will subtract what this fx over f 0.6 mean you have calculated, and you will take its square. So kindly understand this. Fx square 0.936 you have put, and square of fx was needed. This is formula for standard deviation, and we have written it over here. Little more distance is required. Let's put it little down. This formula was for calculation of standard deviation. Let's make heading. I thought I have already made the heading, but it was mixed. Why it hasn't come? Standard deviation was needed to be calculated. The formula is here. We have already posted the amounts, and why it is coming? Some other question has arrived. Okay, so it's time to calculate it. First we will calculate inner amount, and how? 0.936, and you will subtract what? Square of 0.6. 0.6 square bracket closed. So this way you have got your amount, and finally you will take the square root. Square root q.13, and you want to take square root of 0.576. 0.75 has been arrived, and look over here. Standard deviation is 0.75. 0 point or 75 is written over here. 0.75. So calculations has been completed for standard deviation. Let's mark it as it has been done. 0.75 was the standard deviation, and answer you can see 0.75 is mentioned, 0.759 or 0.75. Standard deviation is calculated. It's time to calculate your coefficient of variation. Second thing which was needed to calculate. Okay, let's calculate over here. What we are going to do, coefficient of variation, which is also been written as coefficient. I will check the spelling. Coefficient of variation, CV, and this would be calculated by dividing standard deviation. So standard deviation would be divided by average EPS or mean of EPS. What we are going to calculate is coefficient of variation. Let's highlight it. Formalized standard deviation would be divided by average EPS. This was your standard deviation which you have calculated. Standard deviation, let's mention it as well. standard deviation, and average EPS was calculated little above. Here average EPS, it was zero point 0.6, and standard deviation which we have calculated is 0.75. It's time to divide it. Standard deviation 0.758946638 divided by average EPS was 0.6. So guys, we have 1.26 as our CV. So here answer is 1.26. In this way, we have completed our CV for next part as well. Let's mark it as it has been done. At this stage, it is very important to review the question to make our heart little satisfied. So come over here, what we have done up till now. First was to calculate EBIT for all three levels. We have three answers, minus 15, 15 and 45. So over here, minus 15, 15 and 45 answers were EBIT. Then we were asked to calculate EPS 1.62 and 0.8. 1.62.8 minus was 1.62 and 1.98. 1.98. So it means B part first section is completed. Then we were needed to calculate standard deviation and CV. Standard deviation was calculated as 1.13. Standard 1.13 and CV 6.32. After this we have calculated CV 6.3 and answer is also 6.3. Then we have started C part where EPS was calculated minus 0.6 plus 0.6. Okay, this is minus 0.6 plus 0.6 and 1.8 was third EPS, 1.8 third EPS. Next step was to calculate standard deviation 0.75. Standard deviation was calculated 0.75 and CV was 1.26. 1.26 CV. So in this way, all answers are matched. Thankfully, as you know that these lectures are absolutely live. There is no pause, there is no editing, there is no interruption, no changes. So we are supposed to match it again and again to have complete satisfaction about the question. What is D part is saying, compare your finding in BNC and comment on the effects of reduction of debt to zero of financial risk. You can see that your EPS has dropped from 1.6 to 0.6, 0.18 to 0.6 and 1.8 to 1.98 to 1.8. In previous lectures, we have made an understanding that higher leverage is equal to higher risk. Please understand this. And when there is no interest, it means risk has been reduced, and you can see from 0.18, 1.98 you have become at 1.8, minus 0.62 had become 0.6. So your leverage ratios has been dropped. We can apply this principle. If your leverage has been dropped, it means your risk has been dropped. You can see at third stage 1.98 to 0.8, the risk has been dropped in this case, but in this case 0.18 to 0.6 leverage has been increased. It means your risk has been increased. So in this way we can make our comparison just putting this principle. If leverage is high, it means risk is high, and we are asked to discuss financial risk about it, and we have discussed it. As you will decrease your interest in third section, your leverage has been dropped from 1.98 to 1.8. It means risk has been dropped in absence of your interest. In this way, your question has been completed. We have just checked all these answers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 answers we have calculated. I just want to show you what we have done step by step. This much work we have done in this question, and you can see that it's not ending yet. Alright guys, so this was last answer, coefficient of variation 1.26, and last answer 1.26 is mentioned over here. Question has been completed. We have reviewed the answers as well, and whole solution is present. But even then, I am giving you an open offer. If you have anything you want to understand once again, one method is very easy, just repeat this lecture. But if you have still wants to understand in a separate way, you can text, you can message, or you can directly meet and ask your queries. I am making you very sure that you will be answered instantly. 13.20 has been ended, and we will shortly be meeting again for solution of any other question in future. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I'm requesting you to please pray for me as well. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. And one more request, please repeat this question for 3 to 4 times. And I'm requesting you, it's not an order, our teacher is requesting you to please repeat this for 4 to 5 times. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for your time. Allah Hafiz.